This is day 6. So yesterday was interesting. I got into the topic of partying and not really knowing who you are. A lot of the time I'm just thinking out loud. It's just a constant stream of consciousness. There is a lot of element of truth in what I say, and it changes pretty much every day, and I would actually say I'm pretty hypocritical, but the reason I think these certain things is because of experiences, and a lot of the time if you've been on one end of the spectrum, to kind of balance it out you go to the complete opposite side. And I feel like I do that quite a lot in my day-to-day life. I like to criticize things or say things are stupid just because I've stopped thinking that way maybe a day ago or a week ago. But instead of accepting that that is what I used to do and I'm trying to change, I just go to one end and just criticize it straight away and think it's a stupid thing, which is a pretty childish thing to do, I have to admit. But it is what it is. I don't think anyone really has all the answers. I don't think anyone's got all the facts or all the right opinion. Everyone can say whatever they want, whether they think it's true or they think it's false. It's down to personal experience. And the reason I'm saying this is because when I make these videos, have to go back and edit them. This is only the 6th day, but I'd say 3 out of the 5 days I've gone to edit them, and I'm actually listening to what I'm saying, and I just don't really resonate with it anymore. So I think documenting these every day, it's making me think out loud and just say what I'm thinking at the time, but based on the mood I'm in, or based on whatever's happening in this day, or based on my experience on whatever topic I'm talking about. I have quite a biased understanding of it and a biased description of whatever I'm talking about, which is fine because I recognize it. I'm not one to just believe what I say is the truth. And I'm not saying that what I'm saying isn't true. I think a lot of it has an element of truth to it. But I think the angle you come at something is really important. And if you're coming at it with a negative view that you think you're better because you understand everything, it's just quite a toxic way to describe something. I don't think it really matters what anyone does. If you're in control of what you can do and you know that it's a decision that you've made and you know the consequences, then you can do whatever you want. There's a lesson to be learned in everything, and unless you're just blindly following these really bad people that are just going to take you down this awful path and you have no aim of getting out of it and you don't really care what happens, then you will learn a lesson. By abusing your body, abusing your mental health, you will eventually learn a lesson that your mental health is valuable. That's just a small example. You should do whatever you think is right, and you shouldn't really listen 100% to anybody. You should interpret things in an accurate, respectable way, but you shouldn't just blindly follow people's orders or blindly follow people's advice. What they are telling you is based off their experience and their understanding of it. If your experience and your understanding is different, then their advice just might not work for you at all. I think it's great to learn as much as possible and listen to as many opinions as possible and come to as many conclusions as possible, but until you actually try all these different things people have told you, then you can't really come to your own conclusion. So it's great to just take some advice. If it resonates with you, then cool, go and use it. But if you're worried and you're confused and you don't know what's going on in your life, then talking about it is basically the only way, because then you're at least letting it out. So then you're kind of coming to your own conclusions by saying it out loud. Whereas if you're just listening to advice on top of advice, you're just going to be just following it with no idea of why you're following it. You're just going to be doing it, and that might be fine because it kind of forces you to come to conclusions. But I think the best way is to naturally come to a conclusion and naturally figure out why something is what it is and why your life is how it is and how it came to be, and what the reasons are for your thoughts and what the reasons are for why you're thinking certain things. And I think psychology is just fascinating in that way. Everyone can have the same thought, but it can mean completely different things to each person based on their life experience and based on what they want out of life. I think You should go out and do things that you want to do. Do whatever you want to do. If you want to go out and party every night and you want to dress up and you want to like wear expensive clothes, then do it. Because then maybe in 5 years you'll be like, I'm glad I did that because I learned that it's valuable to have real friends around me. Because if you never try those things that are quote unquote negative, then you're just never gonna learn what is good and what is bad. You're just gonna blindly follow that that is a bad thing to do and blindly follow that that is a good thing to do. They're completely different for individual people. So as much as I want to just say that you should constantly be working on yourself and constantly be analysing your behaviour and the way you feel and the way you think, I also think that it's just as important to it's almost like getting research, going out into the real world and doing something crazy that you wouldn't ever really associate with yourself. Like, for example, a house party. If you are not the type to go to a house party because you think they're bad, you shouldn't just stick with that. You should experience it so you have more tangible evidence that it isn't something that you enjoy doing. And not two experiences are the same. Anything could be different based on your mindset on the day, and anything can be different based on who you're with. So if you're with positive people, then a bad experience could be a great experience, and vice versa. You could do the thing that you think you love, but if you're with bad people, you're just going to hate it. I think it's very important to know who you are and know what you're going to get out of things, but I think you should just kind of be uncomfortable and jump into the deep end and just experience things, because nothing really beats experience. You can listen to hours and hours and hours of podcasts, life advice. If it's something that just doesn't fit your life, then it just isn't going to fit. You can't force a puzzle piece into place. You don't constantly need to analyze every tiny detail, because if you do, you're just going to get obsessed with specifics and the really fine details and everything, which is kind of a negative in itself. If you're analysing every tiny bit, you're never actually truly enjoying anything, because you're always trying to pick apart something. The best things are often when you just do experience it completely. Sure, you should analyse it after. If it's something that made you feel a certain way, you should try and figure out why it made you feel like that. But I think a lot of the time, you do just need to live. Although it's obvious the thing that you should be doing, it is also kind of one of the hardest things to do, just to live freely. Live a little first before you analyze it, and then it's kind of like you're going to experience it and build up a little bit, and then you analyze it and work out stuff, and you'll go up a bit more and a bit more. That's it.